Hello and welcome to the Woven Diamond Sculpture tutorial as part of the Diamond Village project for the Framework Knitters Museum. I'm going to teach you all about how to create a spiral form using simple materials like paper straws and rubber bands. Inside your kit you will find lots of different materials. We're going to make a start by creating this woven piece for the centerpiece of our sculpture. So let's get started. Let's begin by selecting 5 paper straws. Gather them together and tap the ends. We're going to secure it with an elastic band and we're going to wrap it round 3 times, a little way from the bottom. Holding that base, we're going to carefully bend each straw over the elastic band and we're looking to create a star shape. Now, if you're right-handed, you're going to put your left hand on top and turn it over. Select the straw nearest you. We're going to miss one and take it to the next one. Over it goes. Hold and turn. Hold with your left thumb. Take the bottom straw and take it to the next one. Hold and turn. Bottom straw. Over to the next one. Hold and turn. Again, bottom straw, over to the next straw. Hold and turn. For right-handed people, we're going to place the weaving on our hands and that left thumb holds that straw we've just used. It reminds us then to take the bottom one up and over. It takes a little practice to get used to that positioning, but make sure whilst you're weaving you're giving your left thumb chance to hold on. Now, every time we take the straw to the next one, we're placing it just on the outside of that straw, to the right of that straw. This helps it to grow outwards. You can see the spiral is starting to form. Now we're going to do a round where we're placing it directly on top of the next straw. Line it up once, twice, 3 times and 4 times. Now we're going to take the bottom straw up and over to the left of the next straw. This is going to make the shape go inwards. So to recap, when we place the straw to the right, it grows out. On top, it goes straight up. To the left, it goes inwards. I'm almost getting to the end of my straws now. So I think that one's going to be our last one. If we left it sitting on top, it would simply come undone. So we squash that straw and we're going to sit it on top of that other straw. So I'm going to poke it underneath. It's a little tricky. Pull it through until it sits on top. Now it will hold itself, but if you feel you'd like to make it more secure, just move the straw out of the way and put a very small dot of glue. Reposition the flat straw back on top and leave it to set. I'm going to show you how to quickly trim the ends. We don't want to go too close to the weaving, but just enough so we get a neat finish. There we go, one small spiral woven with the right hand. But what if you're left-handed? Keep watching and I will take you through how to weave left-handed. Select 5 paper straws, tap the ends and secure with an elastic band. wrapped 3 times. Create your star shape just as before. This time, put the right hand on top and turn it over. The right hand holds while the left hand weaves. Take the straw nearest you, miss one and take it to the next, and rotate in an anti-clockwise direction. Take the straw up and over to the next one. So our weaving is worked clockwise, and we're turning the sculpture anti-clockwise with each turn. It's woven in exactly the same way as we did before. The right thumb holds that top straw, whilst the left hand takes the bottom straw up and over to join the next. The first few rounds, we're placing it to the left of the next straw. That allows us to grow the shape. Once you're happy with the shape and size that you've created, then we're going to do a few rounds where we're going to place the bottom straw directly on the top. So once, twice, 3 times, and 4. Now we're going to take the bottom one and place it to the right of the straw, and that will help us to reduce the shape of the paper sculpture. Continue weaving until you run out of straws. Just like we did before, we take that last straw, we flatten it, and we tuck it under so it sits on top of the straw below. Pull it through, and there you have a left-handed weave. Give the excess straws a little snip, and there you have a left-handed weave and a right-handed weave. You'll notice the spirals go in the opposite direction. That creates a nice small spiral, but what if you'd like to make one a little bit bigger? So this next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to extend your paper straws to make a larger piece. We're going to start exactly the same as we did before by fastening 5 straws together with an elastic band. Create your star and turn it over. I'm going to demonstrate this one right-handed. I'm starting off in exactly the same way, and I'm starting to grow my shape by placing the new straw to the right of the old straw. Because we're going to go larger than the one before, I'm going to give it a little measure against the small unit to make sure that I get a larger base. So we don't want to start and create one the same size, so a little bit more, I think. I'm going to do one round where the straws place directly on top. That allows the shape to go straight. Now we're going to take the shape inwards, so I'm placing the new straw to the left of the old straw. But now I've got to the point where I've run out. I'm going to trim the straw and get a new straw and squish a little of the end, and I'm going to bend it into a V shape. Then I'm going to take that V and insert it into the old straw. As you insert, twist as you go until you feel that you can't push it in any further and it's feeling snug. Weave the next one and repeat the same process. Trim, fold into a V shape and push into the old straw. We're going to do that in turn to each straw, trimming back to the weaving and adding a new straw to extend our weaves. This allows us to make much larger shapes. It's important that we cut and trim at the edge of the sculpture and not halfway round, because you don't want to create a weak point within your weaving. So it's always better to make that joint on the edge of the woven spiral. Last one now. That one can be a little tricky. Nice and gently. And then away we go. We have new straws that we can continue weaving. So remember, we're going to be taking the shape inwards, reducing its size. So I'm placing the new straw to the left of the old straw. And you can see the space inside, that cavity space, closing up with each weave. We're going to keep going until our straws run out. And with that last one, just like we did before, flatten it and tuck it to lay it on top of the straw below. Now again, if you would like to secure it, you can do with a little dot of glue, just a small amount. I'm using just a water-based PVA glue. Replace the straw, wipe off the excess, and then trim the ends. Now have a larger piece and a smaller one, so you can decide which shape you'd like to make. We've just learnt how to create these woven spirals, and the pattern that we've used is a spiral weave from the corn dolly weaving techniques. Corn dolly weaving is a really old tradition that can be found all across the British Isles. The history goes that the eldest male of the village would gather the very last parts of the harvest. They would weave them into these geometric forms as a way to encapsulate Mother Nature within the woven piece. They would then take that form into the home and look after it through the winter months as a way to protect Mother Nature. Come the springtime and they're ready to sow the seeds, they would return this woven form back to the earth as a way to return Mother Nature back to the soil to guarantee a good harvest for that next year. I really like that story of encapsulating something within this geometric form and protecting it. Why don't we use that as part of the project? If you have a family story or a history that you'd like to record, why not add it onto a piece of paper, roll it up and pop it inside your woven form, and it can become part of your woven sculpture. Now let's learn how to turn your woven sculpture into a hanging diamond like these behind me. And we're going to add an LED light to the centre to illuminate them. Let's get started. For this next stage, you're going to need a ruler, and we're going to take one of your paper straws and we're going to cut it at 20 centimetres long. We're going to need 4 of those to start with. So take one of your chenille stems and thread it through the paper straw. Keep going until you've got roughly the same length of chenille straw sticking out each end. Repeat that for all of the 4 straws. Now we're going to form part of our diamond. Take 2 of them, line them up where the paper straws end and do 2 twists to secure. Let's make another one. Line the paper straws up, 2 twists, and then we've got part of our diamond. And let's do that all over again. So remember to line it up on your ruler and cut the straw 20 centimetres long, and you're going to need 4 pieces. Take your chenille stem and thread it through the paper tube till a little sticks out evenly at each end. We're going to repeat the same process by taking 2 and twisting them together to create a piece of our diamond. Now we've got all our components, we're going to take one more straw and this time cut it to 10 centimetres. Repeat that until you've used up all of one straw. So you should have then 4 pieces, each measuring 10 centimetres long. I'm going to make a little space ready to put together our diamond. Lay one out as the bottom and the other as the top. Twist them together to secure. And this creates a very simple diamond. You may wish to only go that far with your diamond pattern and place one of your pieces in the middle. If you'd like to try making a more complex shape, then let's continue with this pattern. We're going to fasten them at the top. So now we've got 4 stems. Twist 2 together and then the other 2 together to hold that in place. Now let's repeat that at the other end, the opposite end. Place the straws together, twist the 2 stems and twist the 2 stems. So now we've got an open diamond and a closed diamond. Taking the loose ends, bring them together and twist. We have lots of pairs of chenille stems sticking out of each corner of the diamond. We're going to carefully bend them. We're going to be using those shortly. So we're bending them inwards to face the opposite piece. Now take your small straws, thread one end of the paper straw onto the chenille stem and thread the other end in. Push it together. You can see our diamond starting to form. And the last straw It's going on to complete our diamond structure. That will hold a smaller spiral in the centre. Let's sort out our LED light, unscrew the unit and remove the small piece of card circle from the top of the battery. Replace the lid and screw back in place. To turn on the light, you simply screw it all the way and then replace the rubber seal around the edge. We're going to use some of our invisible thread now, and we're going to unwind a length that is a little longer than the entire length of your diamond. Now this is a very fiddly part, so you may need an extra pair of hands to help you hold it. And it's going to be quite difficult to see what I'm doing because it's invisible thread. So I'll try and talk you through this stage as best I can. So I'm tying a knot at the end of the thread, but before, you can see how fiddly it is, but before I close the knot, then I can lower that onto one of the chenille stems and tighten it. Once it's secure, we're going to find the end of the thread and we're going to thread on one of our woven sculptures. Now you should be able to pop the end of the thread directly through the centre because there should be a small hole remaining. Pull it through and just pop it onto the table out of the way. Now the LED light, there's a small loop on the end, pass the thread through, and you want to position it so that the LED light is going to sit in the centre of the diamond. Secure it in place with a couple of knots. Now this is quite tricky to do on your own, so it might be quite useful if you get somebody to hold the light whilst you fasten the knot. Make sure that it sits in the centre of the diamond and fasten another knot. Now carefully thread that thread through all the way to the bottom of the diamond. I'm going to wrap it around the chenille stem for a little and then twist two of the stems together, and that should hold the thread. Pop the LED light inside the woven spiral and there you go, our woven diamond sculpture. I do hope you've enjoyed watching woven diamond sculptures with me, Rachel Carter, on behalf of the Framework Knitters Museum. Don't forget that when you've finished your pieces, do hang them in the window for everyone to see. Thank you for watching.